Hey there, WellHouse Church. Pastor Cullen here. Excited to be with you for week 2 of our story series through the book of Acts, the activity of God. And today I want to talk to you about something that I'm calling the Great Reversal. Have you ever watched an artful debate or a masterfully produced chess game? If you've watched either of those, you've probably seen some experience of someone making what would be called the ultimate setup, where someone makes a move, leaves something open with anticipation that someone will attack it in a certain way. And in the attacking of it a certain way, they get got. It's a setup. This happens in chess all the time. It happens in debates quite often, where someone will leave out an open remark, assuming that the other person will jump on it, only for them to later find out that it was a setup the entire time because the original person wanted them to go down that road. That is the setup. And it's a common tactic in lots of different fields. And it's actually what ends up happening here, or something similar. Because the story that we're about to see, the disciples lay something up for Jesus, anticipating that he will attack it a certain way. And yet, Jesus does not. Jesus performs what I am affectionately calling the Great Reversal. And here's how it goes down. Acts chapter 1, beginning in verse 6, says, "So when they'd come together, they asked him being Jesus, 'Lord, is this the time when you will restore the kingdom to Israel?'" Throughout all of the Old Testament, beginning in Samuel with the promise of David, there's a promise that someone from the line and house of David will sit and remain on the throne of Israel forever. And combine that with the promise of Abraham, they think that Israel will be a world power. That is what their mindset is. And so they want to return, they want Jesus to restore Israel to its once prominence. That is what they are asking. They're saying, is it now time that you're going to do this? And remember, these are the same people that have had a power metaphor throughout all of the Gospels. And Jesus replied to them, "It is not for you to know the times or periods that the Father has set by his own authority. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in all Judea and Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." You see, the interesting thing about this is that Jesus understands that they're asking a question about power. And yet, Jesus performs the Great Reversal. He is going to give them power, but power not in a way that they were expecting. They're not going to be a world power. Israel will never again be a world power. The power that he is going to give them is the power of the Holy Spirit. And that power will yield them to an office. That office isn't a king. That office isn't a political leader. That office isn't an emissary. That office has nothing to do with traditional power structures. That office is to be a witness, to go about doing the things of God in the name of God and suffering on behalf of God. Make sure you check out tomorrow's episode of A Closer Look because I dive more into this. But the word witness is the same word through which we eventually get our word martyr. Because being a witness is not a witness of power and colonization. Being a witness is a witness of grace, of loyalty, of humility, of blessing, of goodness, of kindness. And so Jesus says, yeah, I'm going to give you power, but it's not a power that you're imagining. And then the text says, when he had said this, as they were watching, he's lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. And they just continue to sit there gazing at the sky. Now, granted, if I saw someone taken up into heaven, I don't know what else I would do other than sit and continue to gaze at the sky. It seems like a very perplexing moment, that something is happening in this moment. And so they look and gaze at the sky, wondering what has just happened. And there's a really important moment that happens. Verse 10. While he was going and they were gazing up toward heaven, suddenly 2 men in white robes stood by them. They said, "Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking up toward heaven? This Jesus who's been taken up from you into heaven will come in the same way as you saw him go into heaven." Maybe you could summarize that last sentence, that last verse, in a new way. And that new way would be these 2 men in white robes politely telling them, it's time to go to work. It's time to be active. It's time to do something. The days of mildly gazing upon Jesus in the sky are gone. It's time for you to go out and do the work, because Jesus is going to return in this same way, and he's given you a directive. Before he left, he gave you a directive to go be a witness in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth. And so don't stand here gazing at Jesus who's been gone up into heaven for a while. Don't stand here gawking. It's time to get ready, get prepared, and go to work. Go to work in the power of the Spirit, being a witness to the Spirit, the testimony of Jesus. It's time to go to work doing the divine acts, picking up where Jesus left off. Simply stated, it's time to go to work. And so, church, I want to ask you, what does it look like for us at WellHouse Church to be a witness? What does it look like for us to get to work? What work do we need to be doing that we're not doing? And what work are we doing that we can do better? In what ways can we grow and improve in our role, in our office of being a witness?